Joining us now for more on the company and its outlook is Philip Weiss, as I mentioned, an oil industry analyst at Argus Research. And Phil, taking away all the battles that are ahead for BP, the stock itself, now that this well is dead, is this a good entry point to buy into BP shares?
I really think, Betty, it depends upon your investing landscape. If you are a long-term investor, I think you could decide to buy BP stock, take a period of time over which you want to make that investment, divide it up and divide your investment as well, and invest in it periodically, just reevaluating each time. But if you're a short-term investor with a 6 to 12-month time frame, I think all those uncertainties that Lizzie just outlined, they're still there, and so that it's hard to know where the stock is going to move over the short term, so that I think that's just kind of speculating.
Right, so as a speculative play, it might be pretty risky, as you just mentioned with what Lizzie's sort of outlined ahead for it. But as a long-term investment, I still have a hard time finding out why it would still make sense as a long-term investment, because those uncertainties, you can imagine, are still going to dog that company for years on out.
Yes, they are, but you have to remember that this is a company with a tremendous pool of assets. It's got a lot of reserves. It's in a business that produces, although it's a commodity, it's a product that there's still high demand for, especially as a transportation fuel. It generates really strong cash flow, and I think all those factors will combine to allow it to pay for whatever liabilities it ultimately has to pay because of the spill. And
it's going to be more than $20 billion in your view eventually?
I believe so, that's right.
Okay, how much more?
That's if I have not put out a formal number because there's still too many uncertainties on it. But I think we have the $20 billion indemnification fund. The company said they don't think that they'll spend all that, but that doesn't count all the civil liabilities, the legal liabilities, the things with the government, and all those numbers that we don't know what they are yet.
Okay. Aside from that, about the legal liabilities, how much more difficult is it going to be for BP to operate in the Gulf from now on?
I think it is going to be more challenging. We have this legislation that's been out there that talked about limiting BP's ability to do business in the Gulf. BP has said, if you do that to us, that it's going to be harder for us to pay the liabilities. We've already kind of had the groundwork.
Well, should they avoid it? I mean, Phil, should they just avoid it? Can they avoid?
I really don't think that they can. I mean, I think that maybe they can step into the background on some of their projects and let a partner operate some of these wells and just be a financial participant or investor, kind of like Anadarko and Mitsui were in Macondo. But I think because of the importance of this oil to BP's future, that it would be hard for them to just walk away.